Okay, hello and welcome to this special poetry reading for Black History Month. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Stephen Macauley, who's one of our own here at First United Methodist Church. We're so grateful to have him and to have his original poetry today. So let's give a warm welcome to Stephen.
Now, we all know that February is dedicated as Black History Month, honoring the successes and struggles of African Americans throughout U.S. history. Black History Month was first celebrated in February 1926, when American historian and author Carter G. Wilson launched the celebration of a historic week to teach the history of Black Americans. But my first poem, I will say that history is ongoing. So Black history is not only confined to the month of February. We should celebrate it all the time. So the first poem is Black History. I cannot help but begin history with you. How could I sleep with my eyes open? My eyes reflect your gaze even in sleep. We are word dreamers and lovers of words. I cannot help but close my eyes sometimes, jumping off the cliff. To love is to leap. The heart is a balloon. There is no falling when falling in love. What about falling out of love? Does love become an object to be shot down? Every Black History Month, historians make the headlines. They talk about Akarios falling, but he also flew. Why is the fire of love so blinding? Are we facts, fictions, or myths? Is it because the eyes close when we kiss? Are the poems we write myth or memoir? A good Black story has a beginning and no end. Now, the next poem is a tribute to Rosa Parks. We all know that Rosa Parks was an African-American activist, best known for the Montgomery bus boycott. I never knew that she was Rosa Macauley Parks, so we share a common name, but she was Rosa Louise Macauley Parks. Rosa Parks Airport. I love your wings when they are next to mine in the airport, tucking the wings after landing on a spot. Everyone should embrace Rosa. Borders only prevent people from loving. I'm looking for my patch. My head might rest on your chest. The next poem is Conversation with Martin Luther King. I'm eulogizing King in this poem. What did you say to King yesterday? How do I fly on the wings of a butterfly? Abstract art requires a pilot landing permit. Imagination is a hammer made of glass. Peace is a fragile, tender thing. I hold out my hands to keep a few dear things. King ties peace together with string, long black strands. Experiments begin inside the head. Here covers mistakes. Each time we come, we begin again. Decide on a note, King says. King married peace more than once. Another poem for Black history. It's called Black History. Have been trying to enter your history for an hour or so. How long will you close your eyes to me? I need to see you again. When we last kissed, you closed your eyes, and I was standing somewhere on the corner of desire. I once lost the key to love, outside the door of dreams. Now your beauty wakes me, and I no longer need to sleep. Oh, the restlessness that comes with history. Your body opens, and now everything is now. The next poem is called 1957. Why was it so easy to remember the names of the managers of the National League teams in 1957? Why was it so difficult to remember the 9 children in Little Rock trying to integrate a high school? The 2 girls spent most days in the library and read more than anybody else in their classes. Outside the school, yelling and booing came from the losing team. Sunflowers grow too tall and heads too high for droughts. Bob Dylan one day will sing, "A hard rain is gonna fall." Tomorrow is never what's supposed to be. In 1957, the Milwaukee Braves defeated the New York Yankees in 7 games. It was not supposed to happen. Hank Aaron is remembered as being Martin Luther King Jr. with a bat. Oh, that should have happened sooner. And we should remember a whole lot more. I remember Sputnik, Esina, and Lou Bardet. Who could forget what happened to Emmett Till in 1955? Profiles of the Future by Arthur C. Clarke was still in the future. Another poem eulogizing Martin Luther King. It was 5 a.m. when King knocked on my door. I was making tea and invited him to sit with me. He had just come from the temple, and so I inhaled justice. The incense still asleep in his clothes. We talked about many things. Peace and justice. Jamila stared in the next room. My tea turned cold. His cup was empty. Before leaving, Reverend King held my hands and blessed me. Return and love her, he said. The morning is just beginning. I thanked him and closed the door. I went into the room. I called up next to Jamila and began to pour. A hand brushed across the top of my head, and then she stroked me. Now, African Americans have made significant contributions to horse racing. You know, African American jockeys dominated the winner's circle in racing's first 3 decades. In the 1890s, there was a guy called Willie Sims. He became the first and only African American jockey to win all the American Triple Crown races, winning the Kentucky Derby in 1896 and 1898. So in memory of Willie Sims, I wrote a poem called Horse. And I will weave it with the homeless situation that is apparent in Salt Lake City, Utah, and across America. Horse. Willie Sims have started reading the novel, Horse by Geraldine Brooks. I'm heading off tonight to pick up that whale's call. I wish I had said that. Some novels are filled with too many words and not enough sand. Why strand a reader on a beach? The grains of sand everywhere in my house scattered, not even a handful. Palm trees as tall as bookshelves. The ladder does not look stable, and it is not. The hidden books tell the real story. Today, the homeless are removed from downtown squares, rounded up like horses in the wild. The naked back of a wild horse. The gentle hills are a borrowed view. The year is 1890, somewhere in Lexington, Kentucky. Now I wrote another poem on homelessness. You know, it's so apparent. Homelessness hits all races, but, you know, blacks are disproportionately affected. So this poem is called Airport. I'm in an airport and now keep losing luggage at baggage claims. I should have stayed in the overhead compartment. A small black suitcase out of hundreds of small black suitcases with a red ribbon. Diversity is heavy and requires wheels and proper handling. There we lift. A well-behaved yellow Labrador retriever keeps an eye on a burning biscuit. How we keep an eye on our possessions is an indication of how materialism wags our tail. Creature comfort is hard to deny. I should have stayed in bed. Flying is uplifting. The sky is a blue blanket. As long as the inner ear pressure is equalized and I don't lose my passport. I must remember to keep my passport close to my heart. Too many of us have passports, luggage, and no homes. Our hearts are broken like the lock on our suitcases. I only have red ribbons. Another poem on homelessness, it's called Passengers. Quietly, the homeless will be pushed out of every Salt Lake County. Monitor the rezoning and sky-high house pricing. So many passengers without tickets. Where can they go? How many suffer from mental illness, the absence of care and medication? How many have been employed just a few years ago? Layoffs have a way of turning people slowly into zombies, walking aimlessly in circles, talking to themselves. Madness is predictable. Now and then someone screams, but the ear can be a bigot who listens to the poor. Now I've been gloomy with the homeless reading, but I will end this Black History Month on an uplifting, heartening note with a poem, Angelic Love. You know, I read this poem yesterday at a Black History reading event. I wish I had loved you many months ago. I would have loved you as Langston loved Harlem and Morrison loved to write. I would have loved you as Du Bois loved suits and Garvey loved parades. I would have loved you as King loved Jesus and Malcolm loved Allah. I would have loved you as Pele loved to play ball and Etta Mountain loved to sing. I would have loved you as Jackson loved to dance and Denzel Washington loved to act. I would have loved you as Mandela loved inclusion and Booker T. Washington loved Tuskegee. I would have loved you as Obama loved oratory and Jesse Jackson loved to preach. Angelic love. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen, so much. I hope you will greet him on your way out. And for those who would like to stay after, downstairs we have coffee and goodies. So we will see you then. Thank you.